IGDA LA's first town hall meeting. This is the first, I think, in forever and a day. Ever. First ever town hall meeting. We plan to have more of these. We want to invite the community out to join us, of course. This is not only just our organization, but it's open to all organizations. It's open to the greater gaming community in Los Angeles. So even if you have friends that are not part of the organization, they can come and participate. We definitely have special benefits for our members. And starting off the year, we ask you all to help us and to develop the programming for this organization. We have the second largest chapter in the world, and we want to make it the most active and the best chapter.
And for those of you joining us digitally, I'm going to put a post on our Facebook group, and if you could just sort of tag in whether it's a bump or a period or some sort of cheer if you're joining us digitally, that way we can get our numbers, because you know how it is, gotta get numbers.
Yes. So, not further ado, I'm the co-chair. My name is Charles Babb. I didn't introduce myself. Josh is the other co-chair as well. This is Chris. He's one of the board members. This is Tiffany, another one of our board members. And this is David, our other board member, who's also our gracious host for the evening that actually hosts the event here today. He's a professor here. Is that, if I say professor or teacher?
I'll say instructor.
Instructor. He's an instructor here. And we thank everybody for coming out today. Like I said, this organization is for the whole complete game development community in Los Angeles. And we want to get more and more people involved. Hopefully the next town hall will have a full house, and it's going to grow from there. Thank you all for coming out in this really horrible weather today.
Thank you, everyone. And now, Charles, if you'll hand the mic over to David, do you want to give a couple words about our gracious hosts here at the college?
Yes.
Well, we're here at the ArtCenter College of Design, one of the premier design schools in the country. And in fact, it's kind of a misnomer to say that I'm the host. Actually, our gracious host would be Christoph Gomez, who is in charge of the game design track, brand new game design track, which is part of the entertainment design program here at the ArtCenter College of Design. And in fact, I would like Christoph to step up and tell us a little bit about the school and the program, since I've only been working here 3 weeks now.
Come on up.
Thanks, David. So, welcome everybody to ArtCenter. We're happy to have the first ever town hall meeting of IGDA. So, as David said, yes, we just launched recently our game design track, which is a bachelor's degree for game designers. So we are super excited about that. For those who don't know ArtCenter, we have programs in concept art, automobile design, illustration, product design. We have a lot of different majors. It's a very, very creative school, so we love that. Game design is part of the entertainment design group, which includes concept art, animation, and games. So that's what we do. One of the big features of ArtCenter is that we work very closely with the industry. So our teachers, 99% of our teachers come from the game industry, the movie industry. So that's very important to us. So I'm very happy that IGDA members are here or listening to us, because would love to get a lot of involvement from you, because that's important. You have a lot of experience to share with our students. That's what we want to give them. We want them to have a great career in the game industry. So that's an open invitation for, if you know students who want to learn, please send them to us. We will be happy to get them. And if you know people or you want to teach, get in touch with us, and yes, we can discuss that. So I'm not going to go into the detail of the curriculum, but it's focusing on the crafts of making games. It's of course focusing on teamwork, on adaptability, because we know that games today are different from what they were a few years ago. So that's what we're all about. So, and a bunch of very creative and passionate people are in this school, and I fell in love when I visited it a couple of years ago. So, and here I am now in charge of a game design program. So everything can happen.
So for anyone joining us digitally, is there a Twitter feed or a hashtag or an Instagram tag that you would like us to use to contact you and your school on the internet?
Sure, you can go to artcenter.edu to find about the school. There's a game design section. I don't remember the direct link, so
That's okay, we have Google.
Yes, you need to Google it. So, but yeah, you can reach out to us via our website. So all the information are there.
Perfect. And for all of you joining us digitally or in person, feel free to video or caption or screenshot the event. Just please hashtag us at IGDA LA or IGDA Los Angeles. Extra hashtags would be LA Town Hall 2019, just so we can keep track of you and maybe give a follow back. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.
And now we're going to go down our board list because I know a lot of you guys, live your best lives out here in LA and don't really have a chance to follow up on all the goings on our Facebook page because it's a little cluttered. But we're going to do sort of a 1-minute introduction, a 2-sentence of each of us, because let's be real, none of you guys have any idea who I am or who any of these other people are. So we're going to go down the order. We're going to start with Josh. If you could give us your title in the IGDA, in addition to 1 to 2 sentences about your professional self.
Sure. So my name is Josh Green. Basically, at this point, I am the only remaining member of the original steering committee for the Los Angeles chapter that was started in 2009, and I've been on every single board up until this point.
Excellent, thank you. And if we could pass a mic to Charles. I know Charles is streaming, that's why he's going in and out of frame. Could you give us your position in 1 or 2 sentences?
My name is Charles Babb. I'm a co-chair. I'm the executive producer at VR Playhouse, and I'm a longtime game developer.
Excellent. Next up, we have David. Give us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm David Mullock. I'm secretary in IGDA LA, as well as being a board member. I've been active here in the Los Angeles game development community for, believe it or not, 40 years now. Mostly working as a producer. I've worked at Disney, Activision, 3DO Company, Abandoned Mobile, Cyber Dreams, Spin Master Toy Company, and currently, in addition to being an instructor here at the ArtCenter College of Design, I am the director of development at Say Design, a company that does gamified applications, games, theme park attractions, and learning games. We have offices in Bangkok, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. In fact, I am the Los Angeles office.
And next up would be myself. Yes, I've gone through a few hair color changes since that photo was taken. My name's Tiffany Otto. I'm the treasurer and events chair. That means I'm in charge of both the money and the parties. Poor life choices all around. I currently work with IndieCade, which is the Sundance of independent video games. I do sponsorships, partnerships, and business development for that. I started my game career in indies in Boston. I then moved on to work at Rockstar Games because I wanted some AAA experience. Worked at a massive tech company, burned out, did experimental VR in Berlin, and now I'm back. So that's me. I'm relatively new to the board, but I am a lifetime member of the IGDA, so I see all the newsletters. My inbox is clogged AF. Please feel free to follow me on social media. I'm very boring. There's no pictures of me on the internet. Which brings us to our next person.
Hi everybody, I'm Chris DeLeon. I've been with the board for about a year here in Los Angeles. My career's zigzagged from AAA to casual web game startup to indie mobile, academia, and back and forth some other stuff. These days, about the past 4 or 5 years, I've been with IndieCade, helping organize our speakers. Now I mainly focus on our kind of alumni relations, our 11 years of awesome people, trying to connect them. And then my other work is I'm the founder of Gamketo, which is an online, non-traditional project-based learning game development school of sorts, combining video courses, private training, group practice, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's me.
Exceptional. And I'll drop these slides on Facebook afterwards so you can remember who the heck that random white girl was. And please feel free to follow us on social media. In addition, we have Instagram and Facebook active, and our Twitter feed, lives a little bit of its best life. So follow us on all of those. Now, Josh, talk to us a little bit about the overview of the IGDA and how LA fits into that. In addition, there's 2 links. There's a long-ass link if you're following online, and you can just type that easily, and the shorter one over there on the blackboard that was mentioned previously. Those questions will funnel straight to my phone, and then when it's Q&A time, we'll answer them. That way, if you don't feel like talking in person, or if you're joining us online, we can account for you.
So the International Game Developers Association is made up of, it's a very big international organization made up of chapters for local communities and special interest groups. It's led by an international headquarters consisting of its own board and its own executive director, who is currently Jen McLean. Each chapter is chartered under the international organization, but has autonomy to best serve game developers in the regions in which they reside. Los Angeles, as we've mentioned, is the second largest chapter of the world by membership and is led by the board of directors consisting of 7 people, although currently we are 5.
So David, if you could give us a little bit about the benefits that you have by becoming a paid member of IGDA or even just a unpaid local member.
Well, probably the largest benefit of being with the IGDA is that you're part of an entire global community. We are one of 150 chapters and special interest groups spanning all over the world, including we have groups in Asia, we have groups in the Middle East, I believe even in Africa there are groups. And it's a way to stay in touch with people from all over the world who share an interest in game development. Being a member of the IGDA allows you to be able to share knowledge with other members. And a brand new feature, so I have to read it off of here. This is actually the first I've heard about it. We just opened up the IGDA Expert Resource Library, one of the industry's largest repositories of papers, abstracts, how-tos, and presentations, all about game design, leadership, production, project management, business and legal matters, publishing, and more. And if you prefer more of a one-on-one experience in learning about game development, the IGDA sponsors mentor cafes at various events where you can have your own private one-on-one conversation with some expert in the game industry about whatever matters in game development that you're interested in. It's also a way to help boost your career. The IGDA has a career center, which is a full-service portal for job searchers and career changers, where you can learn about where some job openings are, get interview tips, and get free help with your resume. Joining the IGDA also gives you a voice within the community through our various special interest groups. We have over 25 SIGs, including analytics, game design, women in games, user research, blacks in games, games education, credit standards, Latin game developers, and a whole bunch more. So this allows you to gain some influence through these groups within the game community and really help you make a difference.
Technically, we're a trade organization, which becomes important later because we're a nonprofit trade organization, so we're not actually driven by a particular company.
That's right. Although we do have many company supporters that help us out by offering sponsorship for some of the events that we hold. Well, as you stay informed, we have a newsletter, the IGDA Insider Newsletter, a roundup of industry's global news, and there is much more news on the IGDA website. Now, for being a paid member of the IGDA, you get the ability to save significantly on software, books, events, and other valuable professional resources, including saving 25% on Unity Plus and 10% on Unity Pro, 10 to 30% on passes to major industry events around the world, such as Casual Connect, GDC, DICE, and many more. And in fact, your GDC membership you can use as one of the 2 forms of identification to prove that you work within the game industry to gain free admittance into E3.
I think you mean IGDA.
Pardon me?
You said GDC.
Did I say that? Well, I meant IGDA.
GDC is coming up, and we're very heavily partnered with them. We apologize for the marketing crossover.
Well, that's where I got confused because our next one is save 10% on GDC Vault, a treasure trove of over 20 years of videos, talks, and slides given at the Worldwide Game Developers Conference. Save 25% on game development books at CRC Press. Save 10% on tuition at DeVry University with free access to VR First Labs and equipment. And save 10%, oh, this is the best one of all, save 10% on Loot Crate subscriptions and 20% on Happiness at Work card game. So, yes, there's a lot of both tangible and intangible benefits for joining the IGDA.
And so, having gone over the benefits of the IGDA, The real question is, why haven't you heard of our LA chapter so much, considering we're the second biggest in the world and we're the biggest city, besides, Finland? David, if you could pass me that mic, I'm going to hand off to Chris. Talk to us about the improvements we're doing with our board operations locally and why we're all wearing coordinated black t-shirts.
Sure. Well, and actually, I want to throw one more note in there about all those discounts and stuff for the IGDA membership. Like, the IGDA membership is not a lot. If you are going to GDC, that percent of GDC, or if you are paying for Unity, etc., you are very quickly making back more than the cost of the membership. So if you're actively engaged in making games, it might be negative cost to join the IGDA. Just putting that out there. In terms of, IGDA chapters, there's sort of some inherent structural challenges, not just LA, but this is equally true for a lot of other major cities. There's various things where fundamentally it's a volunteer organization. We're all here not paid. We've got our obligations and so on. And one of the things that we identified is just that across the board, kind of game industry in general, right, burnout is a challenge. And one of the ways we're trying to improve that is that it used to be 3-year terms for roles in the board. 3 years is an awful long time, especially in game industry terms. Careers shift probably twice in that time in the game industry. And so we're looking to move that down to 2 years, making it a little bit easier to fit in there, while also making sure we're not losing too much in the transition, staggering elections, which is something we've actually learned from HQ's sort of guidebook of different ways to structure things so that it would be half re-elected each year. So at any given time, we have some momentum, we have some knowledge. Because one of the things that happens is when, of course, the entire board potentially gets reelected, they kind of constantly have to spin right back up on relearning things, rebuilding connections, reestablishing where we have meetups and so on. And so that's another thing we're kind of working in there. Another thing we figured out is that Los Angeles, as part of why we're one of the largest chapters in the world, it's enormous and has world famous levels of traffic. And there's necessarily challenges where even when we met once a month in person, that was going to be 2 hours for somebody, depending where they're coming from in LA. No matter where we held it, it's going to be 2 hours for somebody. And so we've kind of tried moving away from that towards a lot of our board meetings have been held online, and we've been spreading them out. So instead of one mega meeting a month, we've been one micro meeting a week, touching base in the evenings. How are we progressing on our goals? How can we all block each other? And our hope is that by reducing that traffic time, that congestion, that big old block out of one weekend, making it easier for busy, hyper-involved people who have other jobs, other school commitments, other things to be involved and engaged in the board and IGDA in general through sort of, like I say, online rather than as many in-person interactions. Additionally, that to better connect people, there are so many things already happening in Los Angeles. Other meetups, other studios, plenty of schools with great public accessible presentations that any given one of us just isn't aware of. And so one of the things that we're trying to move towards is helping to become a beacon, because often what happens is people from these other cities, members of Seattle's or Atlanta's or Chicago's, New York City, move to LA because they know about all the great opportunities out here. They come to an IGDA meetup and they say, hey, I'm an audio person. What can I do? And we want to try to become a focal point of being able to have those answers, publicly listed, shared calendar, in a way that other studios that have public talks, other organizations that aren't IGDA doing things accessible to developers can tell us that information. And so do you mind writing on the whiteboard another shortened URL?
Of course. If Chris is giving me a shortened URL, I'm going to write it down.
All right. And so the URL for this, and we'll be posting it prominently on our site as that becomes ready and on our Facebooks and so on after, is tiny.cc.
Today's meeting brought to you by tiny.cc. JK, they're not sponsoring us, but if anyone knows anyone there, we'd love a sponsorship.
No affiliation. /IGDA. This one's shorter, I promise. -LA -event. Trying to make it simple. And right there, you can just tell us the name of the event, the organization, if it's affiliated with one. Is there a cost to attend? Any information we should know? Where is it? General comments part. We will try to, a link, of course. Yeah, all that information is sort of filled in on that survey. It's just a Google form, but it'll ping us with the information that knowledge is there. We can then disseminate that through the newsletter. We can post when appropriate to social media to access the second largest IGDA chapter in the world with awareness of, hey, these great things are going on, which is also fun because it means you're more likely to see other fellow IGDA members at these events because they're also in the know. We are looking to, and again, this is actually kind of factors back into how we avoid and reduce board burnout, is leveraging the fact all this great stuff's out there. It doesn't have to be us every time organizing the panel, organizing. We're going to keep doing that too, but we can also tap into the community.
We want to create a platform where what you guys are doing, whether you're an LA person who hangs out in their living room and does a lot of their work from there, like me, or someone who's at a big studio, can showcase an event or a project or a beta or something like that. We want to connect more, and be what you need us to be. Because as a board, we can only do so much. And we went straight to how we're improving the board, but we didn't really talk about why. Because at the end of the day, we want to engage more in the community. And that is a major key for us.
Yeah, and then lastly, speaking of that is, we could all day make guesses of what the community needs. We really want to engage more directly with all of y'all and others in the LA area who are connected to the game industry as students, as teachers, as industry people, as freelancers, indies, and otherwise. And so if you talk to us right after this, hand us your card, post in the Facebook group, let us know in the Twitch chat, etc. We'd love to reach out to you, be in touch with you, whether it's a short call, whether we can visit your studio midday, meet some people. We'd really love to learn from you what we can do doing for you, what you'd like to see, what opportunities you envision that could make better use of the unique opportunities LA affords us as a community.
And, tapping into that, at any time, please feel free to email us at la@igda.org. Now, when you do that, it goes to me. And I anonymize data because I'm a data guy. And what that means is anything, questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, you don't like red and yellow, that's fine. Email it in, we'll look at it. Or drop us a line on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And now, Josh, you're gonna tell us a little bit about the upcoming elections, aren't you? Ways to get involved.
Hi, everyone. So, we are having another election. This is, it's been 2 years since our last one. We do have a total of three seats that we are filling. And we encourage anyone who really wants to make a difference in our community to participate. We will be putting out a nomination packet starting next week. We're hoping it should be around Tuesday. We will have links to it on our group, on our Twitter, on anything that we can get that link out to. So you can have the opportunity to nominate yourself or, basically nominate yourself.
Oh my God, Josh, are there any requirements for being nominated? Perhaps a paid membership or otherwise?
Yes, indeed. I was just getting to that. So, qualifications for office. You must be a paid member of the IGDA in good standing. Note, if you are a student member, unfortunately, you cannot run. It has to be it has to be a paid membership as a regular standard member, lifetime member, or if you're unemployed. We do accept unemployed members as well if you're
What if my company bought me a membership as part of their corporate IGDA bundle?
Well, then you're a member.
Oh my God. Talk with your employer today.
As a paid member, you have to have at least 1 year of membership of 1 year prior. So that means if you weren't a member last year or the year before, but you happen to be a member back in 2016, 2017, you still qualify as long as you were a member for at least 1 year. And by the way, if you're a paid member, you can only be paid member for you get a full year's term of membership.
Yeah, that only comes in blocks of one. If you paid us, you are a member.
Yeah,
And you've done it at least for a year, you're good. Okay, and then we will have bylaws and things that you will need to read. Mm-hmm.
Also, if you're a member and you're a board member and you're out of membership, you have to pay for your board.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, they make you do that.
Thank you, yes, and yes, thank you, absolutely. So even if you had that 1 year prior, you do have to pay for membership to make sure that you're current.
We're talking $30 here.
Yeah.
This is not the world's biggest commitment. I'd definitely spend more on hair dye than that.
Tiffany, is that annual or per month?
Oh my God, let's see, if you're a student, that's annually? Oh, I might have the pricing list right here.
Yeah, why don't you
Oh,
go for it.
do we want to learn about pricing for IGDA memberships? We do now.
First off, is everybody a member?
Well, but there's some
Defining it
people
as a
watching
paid
from the
member.
Twitch or the recording
Yeah,
who may
maybe
not
people on the
be.
internet.
I just want to make sure they are.
That's fair.
Okay, ooh, membership dues. Wow, for $60 annually, you get all the things. For $100 every 2 years, you get all the things and extra discounts. For a lifetime membership, which you pay once, that's $1,000. So, if you're planning to be in this industry for more than 5 years, you probably break even. You get all the things, extra discounts, and you never have to click that renew button. If you're a student, it's $30 annually, and you're eligible for scholarships. In addition, we have an emerging market membership package at $30, which gives you all the things, but you have to be at one of the countries listed on that red little hyperlink on the page. If you're curious, just Google how much does it cost to be an IGDA member, and this is the first link. And then we also have a hardship member. Now, I've been really like cavalier about everything, and so I'm gonna like be a little serious right now. If you are unemployed, if you're an indie, if you are somewhere between a hobbyist and a dev hobbyist, it's $30 annually. The proof is really easy. It's basically like, look, and they're super cool about it. $30 annually, super easy. And there are ways you can participate. You just can't vote, and you're not eligible for discounts without a paid membership. So hardship memberships are a thing. Student memberships are a thing. There's something for every price point.
And an added benefit, there's IGDA programs, particularly during GDC, that will cover your cost of GDC, including your flight.
Especially if you're an underrepresented group, such as women, minorities, anyone who's not a Caucasian, heterosexual, cisgender, able-bodied male, basically.
I believe it's you next.
I was going to say, Josh, is that everything you have for our membership stuff and our voting?
So the idea here is the nominations should last throughout February, and then we will start voting in early March, and we promise we'll have this all done before GDC. It'll be within the first 2 weeks of March that voting will happen. After that, we will determine the winners, and from there, we will bring them on board. We will have a new onboarding process.
For the record, that's not us 5 determining members. That would be some sort of computer system at HQ.
Oh yeah, and that's actually really important. So
it's super anonymized.
It's when the voting will be done on IGDA's official website. There's two reasons for that. One is for the fairness factor, but the other is also to verify that you are a paid member. You will not be able to get to the ballot unless you have a paid membership and you can log into igda.org.
And I think everybody knows, kind of spread the microphone seconds. But just to clarify, the board's not voting, the membership of the community votes. It's not like we select, you can suck up to us all day, we can't help you. Get to know other people in the community, and that's how you win that election.
So Josh, is that everything on elections?
That it is.
Well, we talked a lot about membership because, we want your money. That's what nonprofits do. But ways we can get involved without a membership, because $30 a year, that might be a little too much for me to move over my coffee budget. Volunteers, committees, task force, vendors, speakers, panels. Is there something you want to do? Is there something you have? You don't have to be a paid member to showcase your board game at a prototyping night. You don't have to be a paid member to be like, yo, my sister sells Girl Scout cookies. Let's con everybody into buying them. There's tons of ways you can get involved. We have everyone from financial experts coming in who are not IGDA members because they're just really obsessed with the game industry and want to get involved, to, for example, there's a crossover event with women non-binary in gaming where tons of people who were not IGDA members came and got to enjoy. Now, some of our events are going to be gated for paid membership only. We have to do that. But there is usually an option for a more expensive ticket for a non-paid member. This goes back to your membership will pay for itself eventually. Get involved in any way you want. If you don't like the commitment of giving us $30 annually, that's okay. We got plenty of options. You go to social media, I need an intern. Moving on from that, there's going to be surveys. You already had to fill out a form when you came in. Those of you who came in late, please fill out our sign-in sheet. It helps us with metrics for HQ.
Everybody who didn't fill in the sign-in, I can run the laptop over
Those guys.
Oh, perfect. They're all on the same side of the room, too.
So trendy.
Yeah, just sign it, pass it back. Thank you.
In addition, we have a mailing list that goes out to paid and non-paid members. So if you need people for a beta test, put it on. You need a volunteer for your game-related event, put it on. Network is the main word here. We have a simple survey. If you want to get involved, just dump it in the link or email la@igda.org or dump something on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have networking mixers that are done monthly. We're looking to jazz it up a little. As the events chair, this is kind of what I'm really focusing on this year. I'm going to be basically whipping us into a awesome Instagrammable frenzy. We're going to do new locations. We're going to do new themes. Everything from ice cream socials to watching esports when it happens in sports bars. If you have suggestions on what you as the community want, please drop us a line digitally or in person. What I will say though is being a paid member supports the community and it allows you to vote. And like I said, there are going to be a couple events that are paid only. Please submit questions for tonight on that questions form. because we do want to answer them when we get to the Q&A, which is basically right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw one mic around the room real time, and once we're done with these questions, now this is anything you want to ask us, from like, how are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You know, all of those things. Forgive me. Yeah.
And actually, just one moment. Actually, I'm going to sort of basically branch the recording as a backup plan.
Do you want to go on some of the questions that came in earlier? Yeah.
Well, so actually, before even the question, I actually want to start with just finding out who's with us. And I realize there's a lot of people here, so we want to keep the intros pretty short, like aiming for 15 to 30 seconds. But really, we're going to take one of these mics, throw it around the room, and get ready for your improv. Just tell us your name so we know who you are, and a quick thing or two about what you do.
I am Michael Peltz. I've been making games since I was 7. I'm looking to transition over into the game industry.
Excellent. Toss us your name and 1 to 2 sentences about you.
My name is Marshall Graham. I specialize within character rating for video games, and I am currently trying to work within my pipeline to develop software to make handicap accessibility for potential game developers.
Love. We have a sig for that.
Hey guys, my name is Greg Lieberman. I'm a senior software engineer who has worked in the video game industry for 7 years now. At my current job, I build 1 or 2 games a year. It's super duper fun. And I'm building an indie game on the side, and I'm super excited to touch into all the resources here.
Might I suggest you submit to IndieCade?
Hi, my name is Lauren, and I'm currently sourcing for a recruiter right now, but I ultimately want to get into production management.
Ooh. I'm going to do this for everyone.
Hello, I'm Drew. I'm a software engineer in the game industry for about 5 years, most loudly a USC alumni.
Ooh.
Same here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kyle Souza. I'm a music composer, and I currently have a YouTube channel devoted to game music as well.
Alex Januzzi, composer, sound designer, same YouTube channel. And, yeah.
Awesome. Is this our audio squad over here?
Apparently.
Y'all came in together, so I'm assuming.
Okay. My name is Eric Ackhouse. I guess that's going to be a loaded question. Freelancer, tutor, just, God, ridiculous.
Sounds just our speed.
Should I go slower?
No, I was saying that's awesome.
That's great.
A couple YouTube tutorials on Substance Painter on how to get iRay renders with a wireframe render and how to get your decals without aspect ratio changes. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a plain nutshell.
Brilliant.
Hi, my name is Nathan Moore. I don't make music for games. How about that? I'm a producery person, and I also work with a few student organizations to work together, share their resources, things like that.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Caroline. Caroline Bryan. This is my boyfriend. He's actually really here for this meetup. But I'm a music therapist, and I'm also a harpist, and I came from Richmond, Virginia, so eventually I'll move out here to be with him, and we'll see what happens. I might get into studio work.
Oh, there's some cool stuff in VR working with mental health and stuff and music.
So got a little introduction there. My name is Brandon Muller. I'm a recent grad. I'm a sound designer coming from School for Film and TV, learning Unity integration, Unreal 4 integration, Wise, things like that. I have a YouTube channel and Instagram. I post sound remakes and just redesigns and stuff like that too. And out here looking for work. So
aren't we all?
My name is Hector Hernandez, and I used to work in the video game industry. I'm just here, I'm a gamer, and I'm just here to be with everybody.
Love it.
My name is Anthony. I'm his son. I'm currently a student at USC, graduating soon, hoping to break into the industry.
Love your Green Lantern shirt.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's David. I've been in the industry since about 2002. The last time I've been to an IGDA meeting was probably like 10 years ago. So I guess I'm, I don't know, what do you call it, recovering? Oh, she's trying to get me to plug my game. I'm not going to do that.
We have a whole forum for that. We can submit that later.
My name is Julie. I'm a writer and a gamer, and I'm here to support this guy.
Love it. So awesome hearing about everyone who's live with us. So I want to address one question that came up in this, because this is something that's important to me. So I'm going to stand up and be blinded by this light so that whatever cameras are here can see me. I got a question, which is, why are you against white cis males? I would like to point out, I am white AF. There is nothing against white cis males in this situation. However, our industry has a significant diversity problem. Studies have shown that as we add more diverse viewpoints, we get better product. So while there is nothing against white, cisgender, heterosexual, able-bodied males, we have a lot of those already. So there's programs in place that are going to help other people who might be overlooked due to a lack of opportunity, systematic opportunity, to help them rise to the same level and everyone gets a seat. That is not negotiable. A little better. We got a question of, what is an example of a good question? Well, here's a great example of a good question. How do you take advantage of the discounts for GDC? Well, first you pay your membership dues to IGDA.org. Then you log in using your IGDA membership number, and you get a weird little code thing. And then when you sign up for your GDC pass, it says, do you have any discount codes available? And you type in your little number, and you click, bam, it goes, oh my God, I see you're an IGDA member. Let me give you all this money back. And that is how you utilize the GDC benefit. I also utilize this for E3 and Unity, because we have a partnership with Unity. You actually get access to a whole bunch of Unity stuff. Another question is, how can I get more involved? Well, you know what would be awesome? If you emailed us at la@igda.org with your idea. That goes to me. I'm the events chair. I'm also in charge of money. And then we can make that happen. Or if there's something you're really good at, like social media, or copywriting for flyers, or even Microsoft Paint, hit us up. We probably have a use for you. Volunteer at an event. Do you own a studio and want to put together a game jam? Let's do this. How can I ask for a mentor? There's two ways to do this. Locally through the LA chapter, we can try and make an arrangement. Or if you're a paid member of IGDA.org, there's actually mentor cafes that you sign into using their online form. There's scholarships involved as well for people who need assistance. If you need a more casual mentor, we can tap the network. There's going to be a column in our newsletter about mentor-mentee matching, and that's also can be done through our Facebook group, because Facebook has this infrastructure put in, and we're betaing it in a couple other groups I moderate. We also have some other questions.
This is another one for the crowd. And so this one, unlike, so this one, so unlike last one, which is literally everybody 15, 30 seconds, this is a literally, hey, who has thoughts on this you'd like to offer us? Waggle your hand and Josh will make sure you get the mic. But we want to figure out, what are some challenges you personally are facing lately in game development, whether as individuals or within your organization, just so we can better, again, learn about, from the community, IGDA members, what's going on in LA. Doesn't have to be representative of all others, literally just challenges you're facing in game development. Learning it, doing it as a business.
And those of you out on the internet, those links work for you as well. Please submit to the tinycc/IGDA/LA-TH-question. They'll come up right here and we can answer them live. Also through Twitch.
So I'm looking to get into production management, but I've spent the last 12 years in customer service. So I'm having issues finding somebody who'll say, okay, I'll take you. So that's what my issue is I know I have the hard and soft skills, but there are other people who are also in that PA or in that lower position that already have a year or two, so I'm getting overlooked.
So you're interested in getting into a production position?
Correct.
There are many companies around that are looking for entry-level producers. It's a matter of making. A lot of it is just making contacts with other people. One of the challenges working in the game industry is that for every position, there's probably 100 people applying for it. The people that are most likely to move up are those that already have a wide connection of contacts within the game industry. I'll tell you that 80% of the jobs I've gotten have been through referrals or someone recommending me for the position. So number one step, expand your network so you find out about the opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities that are out there that are not advertised. So the more people you know, the better. And then they're at entry-level positions in production. They are looking for those soft skills. So not having prior experiences, as long as you can demonstrate those soft skills, isn't necessarily an obstacle.
And if you're a paid member, you can take advantage of the mentor cafes, which will allow you to actually say like, hey, I am trying to be a producer. Can you hook me up with a producer? And they can give you best practices. Or you can reach out to the producer SIG or the Women in Gaming SIG or whatever SIG affects you. I know there's a QA SIG as well.
What is a SIG?
A SIG is a special interest group.
Okay.
Basically what that means is as a paid member, you have access to these internal spaces where you can talk to people, and that'll be a lot of expanding the network like David was talking about. I will be straight up, I've never had a job that wasn't handed to me through a back door.
I will say this, there is a production SIG, so you might want to try to get involved with them. Just go to IGDA.org. They have a whole list of their SIGs and how to get in contact with them.
I've been looking at the QA one, I just haven't quite been able to.
We actually know the QA SIG leader. She happens to be in LA.
And I also want to add, one of the other side effects of that, like you said, there's 100 people applying for each thing, in this way that is, even if we cognitively know it, it's still very hard to accept, is to not take it personally that you have to sow a lot of seeds before any of them grow. That it doesn't mean you're defective, it doesn't mean that like there's a million other factors that already got filled, they only saw the top 5 in the stack, whatever it was. Keep planting those out there. At some point, I've even heard HR people from various big companies say like, well, about the 4th or 5th time they saw the name, they're like, well, this person's persistent, and gave them a shot, because they clearly weren't giving up. So, don't let that affect you.
So basically the way IGDA and IGDA LA can help with this particular thing, which what I'm hearing is I want career development, and I'm not getting it where I am, is networking. We talked about one of our big plans for this year is to broaden our reach and to pull all those events, whether they're USC events, UCLA events, YouTube Space events that are game adjacent or game related, and create partnerships, create knowledge, create awareness that allows our members, paid and non-paid, to have those opportunities. I've met thousands of people through my career in gaming, and every single job has been someone being like, yo, are you still in the country? Can you come do this? So that's where we come in. We're trying to focus a lot on networking, programming, and events this season.
Including events that aren't even our own, that people just submit through the IGDA-LA-events.
And, ideally we'll create a space where everyone knows a guy. Do we have any further questions?
Challenges facing people in
challenges
games.
Facing people in games, how IGDA LA can help you. What do you want from us?
Sure, I have a question. So digging further into the mentorship area, I've been working in the industry for 7 years. I'm interested in mentoring. I'd like to get involved. At the same time, I feel like I've been at the senior level for a while. I'm not exactly sure where to expand. I would love to get like one-on-one mentorship. What does that look like?
So we have a lot of ways we can do that.
David's trying to
David, this is it.
You can do it through the IGDA Mentor Cafes. If you become an IGDA member, you get on the mailing list, and whenever they're holding an upcoming Mentor Cafe event, they will send out emails to the membership asking people to volunteer for it. And it sounds like you're a good candidate to be a volunteer. They ask what your level of expertise is, other information about you, and they are the ones that handle the whole process of hooking you up with someone to mentor. So it's real easy to do. I've participated in 3 or 4 of them myself.
And we can look into doing this on a more personalized, local, one-to-one basis for our non-paid members as part of an auxiliary service. If that's something the community wants, we can put down the framework to implement it. It's a matter of volume. Some people want to do digital mentors, distance mentors. Some of you are logging in from the internet right now. Oh my God, internet. So, there's a different space for every need. And one-on-one group mentorship, these are all possible. Drop us a line at la@igda.org so that we can match people. If you want to do it locally or you want to do more on an HQ level, go through a paid membership.
Sounds like it could be a potential event at Los Angeles.
God. Someone should tell the event
Mentorship Cafe.
Ooh. Did we sufficiently answer your question?
Yes.
Excellent. Who else wants things from us? What else are you looking for out of your LA chapter? How can we help you? Someone give someone a mic.
You want me to just randomly pick somebody?
Or else you're just going to see your bad
No,
jokes
it looks
from
like
me.
we've got a hand up over here.
I really pick people,
Charles, do we have any questions on Twitch?
So I'm gonna kind of spin the question a little bit, which you guys aren't gonna like, but
I'm excited.
Hit us.
Hit me.
What are some of the struggles that you guys are facing, and how can like the community help you guys meet those goals or achieve those things or things of that nature?
Burnout and engagement. Board members, I'm gonna be straight with you, we've had turnover. We continuously have turnover because it's a lot we often run a slender skeleton board. We're Instagram models, gotta stay slender. We don't have enough people to do all the things we want to do. And as a result, we have a significant burnout problem, which has led to a lot of churn in board members. We have a pretty, locked in group right now that's got a lot of passion, but, we wear out. Engagement with the community is another issue. We host events monthly, and whether they're incredibly awesome events like with the Writers Guild, or even just, your regular, predictable, casual standbys like with our networking events at the Butcher's Dog, we're seeing the same 27 people. I've started doing the data on it. I came in as a data guy, and we're seeing the same people. And that's great, because we love these people, but we're not getting engagement from our wider audience. We have about a bazillion people who are on our mailing list, and we have like half a bazillion people who are paid on that mailing list. So we don't understand why we're getting like a consistently double-digit number out of a bazillion. So our biggest problem is engagement. That's why we're having this event. We want to be what we need to be for you. Does that answer your question sufficiently?
Actually, I'd like to add to that. You're asking also, how can the community help? And that's also on us. We want to start, as we can expand what we're trying to accomplish, we're trying to give the community more opportunities to volunteer, and perhaps even if we were to do certain things, we would have committees for them, so that you don't even have to be a board member. You just have passion about a thing, and you want to see that thing happen, and you come to us, and we work with you to make that thing happen.
So to kind of sum up our action items, we want ideas, email us, tweet us, IG us, Facebook us. We want to know what you want. If you tell us what you want, we'll do our best to execute on it. We have an issue with engagement because we feel like we're not providing the events and such that the community needs, which is why we don't have as many people as we want at them. And we have a board burnout issue as a result of those two. Those are our solid action items for how the community can help us.
But also, as the community can participate, it also helps take some of the work off of the board so they can focus on other things too. That's kind of the idea, at least with a committee.
So, having put that all in your minds, you two internet land, anyone else have questions, IRL or digitally? Ooh,
Right behind you.
one right there. You in the blazer for 20 points.
All right, so I got another follow-up question.
Yes.
So as I'm building my indie game, I started an LLC, and now I've realized, I have all these administrative chores. It's like, I have to get a bank account, I have to do this and that. I'm wondering, are there resources in the Career Center for that kind of stuff?
So she handed me the mic, as though. So I suspect. I can't say authoritatively, and I haven't seen them. IGDA has enough chapters that people have these challenges. Almost certainly, there is something we find, maybe the production SIG, etc., that has answers to these kinds of challenges. Remember, that's not just giant company production. That's like small business production as well. When I've run small businesses, and I've started two, in both cases, my best resource for those was finding other people who were around my level or who had sort of survived that minefield or didn't and said, well, there's one, don't step on that one. And so that's, again, where just the networking, being at the events, finding other people and asking around and realizing someone's got those same challenges, you can kind of accountability buddy, hey, did you get that thing into the city that we have to get in or we're in trouble? Do you know a tax person for this kind of size of business, etc. For me, that really just has come mainly through peers that really came from networking events.
Charles.
Sorry. That's the question that HQ is addressing right now.
And they are putting forth the effort to help us with financial services, legal services, healthcare services, and actually business development. They know that's a really big ask, considering the indie community is booming and it's always changing, people fall in and out, and they're trying to build that up. But they do want the actual chapters to work on that for their region, but that is something that's going to happen.
So I kind of have an answer for you. I recently attended the International Game Developers Association Leadership Summit, and there were 14 panels on business stuff. I'm counting the legal panels and the finance panels as business stuff because same bucket. So there were panels at that, and they were very helpful. I got to speak to lawyers from Zynga. I got to speak to financial dudes from like EA. Like what I'm getting at is like there are people that you can be connected with, but it might not be like, oh my God, how do I file my independent taxes? I don't know that answer. That's for a tax person. So it comes back to networking. And there are resources available. I'm sure there's a SIG for this somewhere. I don't see how there couldn't be. And maybe, you know, from a sort of less structured standpoint, meeting people who've done the thing, which is why I handed Chris the mic, because I know he's done the thing.
And actually, one more thing I can say is you are 1,000% correct that you are not the only person with that problem. If you scour IGDA's resources and say, hey, where is it? Come to us, put down a flag and say, hey, everybody, I'm organizing the group that figures these things out together, and other people with those problems will find you, and you will have each other's solutions. That's where most of my businesses came from.
Oh, in addition, on occasion, there's a festival such as, I don't know, Indiecade, that has a room hosted by IGDA, where people who started businesses, whether successfully or failure, yell at you about how to do your business. Generally, the answer is get a lawyer. What I'm saying is there are sponsored events at bigger local events that, you know, are done by the IGDA that can give you this kind of information. I hope we've given you some sort of solution.
Yeah, this is excellent. And what you were saying about the ad hoc, find someone who did this and ask them questions, that's totally what I've been doing already, and it's been the best.
Feel free to email us, and if we get interest, we can, you know, put together a panel or something from people who've done it.
I also do want to mention the IGDA Leadership Summit.
Ooh.
That's a good place to learn these sorts of things. They go into the business, they go into, you know, actual leadership and all sorts of other subjects. It's a great learning opportunity.
Cheapest conference I went to in 2018.
Anybody else?
Well, next, I was going to add,
Yes.
I want to add real quick, kind of along those lines too. So one of my favorite little kind of nuggets I took with me from graduate school was realizing that I had it in my head when I was like beginning student research or whatever. I had to come up with something super impressive, and then I presented that they're publishing a paper. And what I'm getting with this is realizing, well, part of like 10 years ago I started speaking at conferences when I realized I didn't have to be ultra famous and super accomplished to speak. I could go there and be like, hey, here's what I figured out. Hit me with questions, let's figure this out together. And that a lot of you, that you're doing stuff, that you're building things, that you have small businesses, that you have careers, whatever it is you're doing, you have skills that are at a level that interests other people to hear about. If you reach out to us and say, hey, I want to be part of a panel about such and such, you don't have to be like a household name to add value to people's lives that way. And again, also, it draws a bunch of people to engage with you on that topic. You find out where, if you make a mistake on stage, people let you know. It's great. That's part of the process. Like, that's not as out of reach as it might seem. Like I say, it's not just for famous people who give talks, and especially like with Indiecade, we go out of our way to organize speakers that are kind of all levels of career progression, find ways to engage with the topic from that direction, and like I say, it'll draw a bunch of other productive disagreement towards you in a way that's healthy and part of the process.
That's why I gave Chris the mic. Come on, hit us. Somebody has to have a question.
If I can, whenever he's got a question back there.
Please give him the mic.
We want you to be heard on the right.
Yeah.
The internet needs to hear you.
Technology. All right. So since I came in late, I might have missed this part, but I was wondering what you guys are doing to reach out to our struggling students out there who are like desperate to get in.
Oh my God, we have a guy who knows about students.
A lot of students attend our networking events, and I love talking with students and other people interested in getting to the game industry, so we do provide advice on that. We want to hold more events that are specifically targeted to students. So more so than saying what we have done, we want to hear ideas about what we can do to better reach students.
Cool. If I can throw in there. Certainly one of the things that we're actively engaged with trying to learn from other IGDA chapters. We know that they've had some pretty productive career sessions, resume workshopping kind of situations, mock interview sort of things. We'd love to help organize that this year. If someone in this crowd or online would like to be a part of that, we would love to have you be a part of that. It takes more people to make that happen than just the 5 of us. Additionally, that's something where I remember early in my network where I was, sometimes I'd go to some network meetings and be like, well, this is a lot of other struggling students. And eventually I would have realized enough years later, there's a lot of my most valuable connections are the ones I made who were fellow struggling students before they were accomplished enough to be really hard to get a hold of. So those people are future connections, going to meeting other people who are sharing those struggles. And again, just like we talked about whatever business level it's at, et cetera, those peers are working through the same challenges, and that is far more valuable than maybe it seems in the moment.
And one thing I will say is mentorship is a major key for, elevating yourself past the academic level. My first gaming job came from a mentor who I met while being an undergrad, who I met at an MIT Business and Gaming panel on Red Dead Redemption 1 and whatever that zombie game where you turn into a zombie because of mushrooms was. Last of Us? Don't know. Obviously, I wasn't focusing on the mushroom game. The important part of this is someone I met there ended up being the connection because they saw the passion and they're like, yo, I can't give you a job, but I can mentor you. And then later when they had an opening, they called me. So I guess what I'm saying is mentorship, which is a major part of IGDA, like corporate /HQ/ whatever you want to use, ethos is what we're doing. We have an academic position that has been sort of sunsetted for right now, and we're working on academic programming. We tossed around the idea of doing an entire tutorial series, either via video or online or some sort of ungodly hybrid, that works with people who are coming into the industry from undergrad or from grad, because that's where tomorrow's talent comes from.
If I can bounce out even just one more thing, one of the things, like I say, we can hopefully be a useful sort of lightning rod for is helping students find all the various kinds of discounts that are student applicable, not just IGDAs, other things in the LA area that are either free to students, discounted to students. If you were aware of those, if your company has those, let us know. We would love to put all those in one place, make it easier for students to figure out how to save that money while they're getting things figured out.
I once met somebody who offered me a job at a aerial silks class here in LA. So it's that networking, that weird, that guy you didn't know that you waited in line with at E3 for way too long to play the new Switch game. We're trying to foster those connections. And if we can get you a massive discount to go to E3 or GDC or something, maybe you'll run into someone in the bathroom line.
I have to apologize. I probably had about 3 hours sleep in the past week, so it completely slipped my mind about my own involvement in the IGDA mentorship program. That's why I gave him the mic. So, thank you. She's more awake than I am. So the IGDA mentorship program is run by, I believe, Don Daglow is in charge of the program currently. Students who are interested in gaining mentors can join the program. And the program will go and find people in the game industry to connect you with. And in fact, I have a couple of student mentees that I keep tabs on, actually now for a couple of years now. So they will hook you up with your own personal mentor to help you to get advice about the game industry, and how much time the mentor and the mentee communicate with each other is really up to them. But they will find people who are strongly interested and sincerely interested in helping you out and giving you career advice.
So David, out of curiosity, is this a paid perk or an unpaid perk?
It is an unpaid perk. We're all volunteers here. So yeah, we're paid by the gratification of helping out.
And if I can, I guess I'll throw in another deal. Again, as a reminder that IGDA is not like a private business where it's like you have to use our solutions and our people and whatever. We are super open to and love to help you find other mentorship opportunities that aren't even through IGDA's channels. Other groups arrange these things. Intel has some of these sort of programs in place. Other groups we're happy to help you find that might be available that aren't even us. we aren't like real picky about like our way or no way. We just want to help people.
Do we have any more questions in the audience? Ooh, I see hands. I like hands.
Okay, so at a couple events that I went to last year, I remember hearing some talk about an IGDA LA trip to 2-Bit Circus. I'm not sure if that ended up happening or not, but if you guys did more stuff like that, I'd be very interested.
Well, if you want field trips, please email us at la@igda.org. Because if we hear that the people want field trips, guess who's going to put together field trips? You in the blue jumper for 20 points.
All right, mine is a bit of a three-part question. Well, one I could probably guess the answer to. The mentor program is, I'm assuming, not just restricted for students, correct?
No, that's for everyone.
Okay, just checking.
Heck, if you're a CEO and you want to get a mentor, we can hook that up.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's the part I can figure it all right. The second part is, how frequently are you allowed to meet with said mentor? Depending on their schedule, I'm guessing, or is
Depends on the program you pick. Something more local would be a one-to-one thing. So
Okay.
if we do it through the LA chapter, that's something that you would negotiate with your mentor based on their schedule, your schedule, phases of the moon, how many times it's rained this week. If you do it through Mentor Cafe, they have specs that you can read online. So there's that. And then if you go through the program that David was talking about, they have a different set of criteria. It really depends how you go about it. Mentorship is not a one-size-fits-all t-shirt.
That's fair. And the final part of the question is, if it's a one-on-one session type deal, is it in person or is it always online?
This depends on what branch you pick and what you and your mentor are most comfortable with.
Fair enough.
My mentor is in Boston, so no, I don't drive to him.
Plane tickets are expensive, so.
But all jokes aside, like it's depending on which branch you take to receive your mentor, that will indicate how frequently, whether it's digital, in person. I believe on the Mentor Cafe form, that is something you select. I will say for underrepresented groups, because I looked into the non-men helping other non-men situation, that was digital only. And Facebook mentorships are digital only because obviously we're using Facebook scaffolding to execute on that.
Okay, fair enough.
Give me more questions. Come on. If not, we have to go back to the list on the internet.
Don't worry. Oh, wait.
The first part is less a question and more of a sort of a frustration or difficulty with the community out here, which is there are actually a tremendous number of events in LA, just a massive number of gaming events in LA, and it's kind of like, well, which ones do I go to? And then there's like sometimes you find a great one, but there's no consistency because it's all volunteer, and there's not a lot of volunteering is hard. You guys know. So that's maybe a frustration that I have no idea what the answer to is.
Can I interject and
you guys
speak to that one before question two? All right, so something I learned from Tiffany and how she organizes WNB is that they will basically kind of like conduct a raid where if you picture, instead of going solo to random one-off events, you tag 10 or 15 other IGDA members who you know, and you're like, hey, everybody, this one this time. At minimum, you know each other. You don't feel as uncomfortable there. And like, that's just a huge win all the time. And so like, that's like, you literally could trade business cards to this and be like, here's our squad of 6. Let's go find an event and raid it.
Speaking of business cards, everyone brought them, right? Why aren't you all trading? I'm not joking about that. Start trading business cards, or at the very least, Instagram handles.
It'll be easier after.
But yeah.
You get a question too as well, right?
Yeah, so basically raid mode is something that can be done, and that's part of why we're focusing less on making our own events unless they're super special gold star like Excelsior. We're talking about creating a platform, like using our network to sort of leverage everyone else's events. And like Chris said, if you get 10 IGDA people to go raid mode, like, I don't know, UCLA's robotics camp, then, you can find out what's worthwhile, what's not. Maybe we can put together some sort of survey, an exit survey. So it's like, 14 of us went, it sucked. Don't go.
Robotics camp, boo.
That's good information. Does this sort of sound like it might alleviate some of your struggles? Is this a service we can provide you that'll help with that?
Perhaps. Do you have any direct or indirect like affiliation or connections to people that are running other events in LA? And what do you guys?
I was going to say, Charles is our guy who knows all the guys.
Yeah, we're building that. You want to specify? So I'm trying to build an events calendar. I'm part of a lot of groups, from WGA to PGA and soon to DGA. So I'm bringing all the groups together and actually have it centralized because other industries are curious about video games and everybody's trying to join in. So I want to get everybody's video game event and put it onto a proper calendar and let people sign up and rate who's going to go where. Hopefully we could do that outside of Facebook, because not everybody's in Facebook, and especially in other industries. They've done away with Facebook and a lot of other industries.
Are you on our mailing list? Blue sweatshirt?
Yes.
You are? So there's a sidebar that says, events in the local area. We're hoping to populate the bejesus out of that.
Yes, that's the goal. Because there's a lot of events, launch parties, open launch parties, and things like that, and we want to cover all those events.
And Phil, if you're going to one, feel free to post in the Facebook group, make aware you're going to it, see who else is up for it or interested, or if someone went last year and warned you not to, that's a great use of that sort of community resource.
But it takes time to connect with other companies.
And you said you had part 2 to your question. Did we say that was part 2? My B. Come on, someone else has questions. Y'all can't be this quiet. We drove all the way up here.
Do you have online questions?
I'll also say, one, we did say we would end it around 8:45. It's now like 4 minutes after. So this could be like the last question or two. So if someone has something they really want off their chest, you're running out of time.
We're down here now.
Yeah. Other questions. One other thing, and this is almost as much a topic as a question, unless obviously you've got things to add, to be great. We want to make sure that, we're trying to learn from other chapters and other cities and so on. Los Angeles is very much a special beast of a city. There are different things happening here. There are different professions and different industries here. We want to make sure we're not overlooking ways we can really leverage the strengths of Los Angeles. There are, and I can just say this again from Indicate experience, groups that come out and do live interactive theater games that are part of LA has serious theatrical skills and talent with worldwide reputation to it. We've got all kinds of VR stuff happening in the community that's not games at all, but is Hollywood connected, is training connected. That still is of interest to IGDA. We'd like to host those kind of people, put together panels, those kind of people, connect those kind of people. And so if you have other ideas, whether now or shoot us an email, of how to take full advantage of all the bizarrely, uniquely, wonderfully LA things, we want to make sure we're doing that, not just overlooking it because we're trying to borrow from what's worked elsewhere, because we're not elsewhere.
We can't be everything to everyone, so we're going to let everyone else do that, and then we're going to clock it all in one calendar.
Yeah.
So what's uniquely LA? What is something you've seen? How can we leverage that to better serve you? If you don't have an answer, that's cool.
Oh, come on.
Ooh, we got gray championship sweater and black blazer. Oh, was that not a statement? You wiggled your hand. I thought that meant you wanted the mic.
All right, folks. So something I've been aware of for a while is the event Game Dev Drink Up.
Ah, yes.
But I've never been particularly motivated to go. I went once because I don't really like to drink alcohol. One type of event that I've been doing outside of video games is just Friday night dinners. And I'm sort of curious, would the IGDA do a dinner? Would they just host a party or something?
If we can get enough RSVPs to lock down a venue, you bet your bottom dollar that I will. There are 2 gaming supper clubs that I know of, but they always sell out. If that's something the community is interested in, please email us at la@igda.org. Because writing is what gets us answers.
For example, Westside Gamers is tonight, and it's a board game event played at IHOP right off of Sepulveda, right by Baldwin Hills.
Can you repeat that for the video?
Okay, yes. For example, there's Westside Gamers tonight, and it's off of Sepulveda, the IHOP off of Sepulveda, close to the airport. And I think they host it almost every Thursday, and it's just board game players. They come in with 50, 60 board games, they take over all the tables, they eat dinner, and they play board games all day. And then there's a place in Inglewood called House AJ, and it's all board games as well. Then there's a LARPing, there's a whole lot of communities. And they're very
House Cafe in Glendale.
Mm-hmm. There's Game House too. Game House is very nice.
So I think what we're trying to illustrate is for our programming in the coming year, we're looking to focus on not just alcohol-based events because a lot of our base is underage. A lot of people abstain from drinking, and not everyone wants to drink on a Tuesday because we all got work on Wednesday. If we don't have any more questions, I have one last question for.
One more question.
Did you have one over there? Did I screw it up? I thought I saw a hand go up. Did I bork it?
Yeah, I forgot my question.
Okay.
Sorry. So, right before we close out, I have one more question for all of you here, and those of you in Internet Land, please drop it on the Facebook wall if you are answering it from Internet Land. If there is one problem, one barnacle, one issue, and I learned this technique at the IGDA Leadership Summit in Texas in 2018, so action learning. There's one thing we can solve in the next 7 business days. One little tweak, if there's one thing that's, just grinding your gears about either IGDA LA, IGDA HQ, or even about the LA game dev community, that we can fix, like one small thing in the next 7 days, business days. What is it? How can we do that for you? What do you want from us? We can toss a mic around a room, or you can just answer us on Facebook. But think about it. What's one thing we can remove, edit, repair, or create in 7 business days that'll help you?
If we can, sorry.
We have internets.
I don't like technology. I don't franchise this industry. All right. If we could have a centralized, I know that calendar of all the events is a big undertaking, but even if there's something that's hey, these are the events that are coming on the upcoming week, as just a short-term goal for us to see that transitioning into IGDA, some of the IGDA LA websites as being a nexus for game dev information. That would be something that would help me out a lot.
So our website's not fully built out, but we can definitely start working on social media for that. So either
Facebook or something.
Facebook calendar and the newsletter. We can definitely start executing on that. We can aim to put, I don't know, David, you're in charge of all this.
We are putting together a website, and that is one of our planned features for the website, is to put together a calendar. So one-stop shop for finding out everything that's happening in the LA area of interest to the LA game development community.
Beautiful.
So that will be happening.
So within the next 7 business days, we can aim to get between 5 and 10 events on our monthly newsletter. How do you feel about that? Are we comfortable with that promise? Does that seem achievable? Is it actionable?
So comfortable.
Is it a SMART goal? I forget what all the letters in SMART stand for, but
team, I think something. Yeah.
Anyone else have a barnacle we can scrape off the bottom of this boat? Because I can put 5 to 10 events in that newsletter, and by I mean I'll Google them and send them to David, and he'll put them in the newsletter.
We'll just scrape them off the web if no one submits stuff to us. We'll find something.
Please submit your event, because now I need 5 to 10.
It's true.
Actually, create a morning versus a calendar.
Ooh, we got another one.
I'm not sure how many people use Discord, but that might be an option.
Yep.
You guys want to make one?
We're developing a Discord and Slack channel that's part of our 3.0 plan. I don't know if we can do that in 7 business days, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
It's a matter of migrating humanoids.
Yeah, we created a Twitch channel about an hour ago.
Literally. The other thing,
2 hours to go create a Twitch.
there is, as a temporary measure, a SoCal Game Dev Discord. I suppose we could put the link up for that in our group.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, it's a temp thing, where it's not going to be officially IGDA LA. We're working toward making something like that, though.
So basically, I don't want to overpromise in the next 7 business days to you. So what I'm going to say is that's our 3.0 plan. It's a 6-month goal, and it is in the works. It's in the minutes. What can we do in 7 business days for you?
I was going to make a suggestion. There's a lot of independent app developers that have apps for local Los Angeles events. I would research some of those. I know of one, it's called Full Loop, but basically if you submit to them all the events, it comes up with a map, kind of like Google Maps, and it shows all the different locations for all the events going on in Los Angeles at any given time or day.
I do love a good geotag overlay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we can try and coordinate with local indie app developers. Is there anything else we can solve in the next 7 business days for you? Internet.
Hey, can I? Oh, Charles got something.
Charles got something.
We could actually start conversations. Our Facebook pages, kind of, we post up events, but we don't really engage in conversations that pertain to the industry. I mean, even favorite games from 1998, which is always Street Fighter 2. Anybody says anything different, they don't know what they're talking about, but it's always Street Fighter 2.
So reversing that, in the words of Missy Elliott, so things you can do for us, how can you guys help us, was asked earlier. How can we re-engage the community? How can we make this more vibrant? How can we grow something here? Chatter on social media. Use the hashtags. Because if we don't have traction, we don't have clout. If we don't have traction and clout, we don't got anything. So if you want to help us help you, engage with us on social media, drop questions like, it doesn't work if we're sitting over here going, oh my God, we have none of the things. And y'all are sitting over there going, man, they ain't got none of the things.
Yeah.
So that's how you can help us in the next 7 business days, is engage on social media with each other. You don't even have to talk to me. You've heard me too much tonight.
Speaking of engaging with each other, unless there's like any super pressing questions, again, I try to be sensitive to. We said we get chat at a certain time, but we also want to welcome you to hang out, trade business cards with each other, pitch your thing to one another, get to know each other and us in the next little bit while we kind of, otherwise, I think, into formal time, but, hang out, talk to each other. I know it can feel a little weird in the crowd, but, come up and just use the space and, network.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And once again, this is your LA board. We have Josh, our co-chair, Charles, our other co-chair, David, our secretary, Chris, our member at large, and Tiffany, your treasurer/events chair. For those of you joining us on the internet's open always. Please comment on Facebook.
Thank you, ArtCenter, for hosting.
Yes, thank you to our amazing hosts. And we're going to cut the mics, and we're going to leave the PowerPoint up so you can continue submitting questions. We're going to cut the mics. We're going to cut the live stream. Everyone here in real life, come chatter with us. Find someone with a name tag.